www.infomega.pl. Sincerely welcome. Interesting discoveries. In this message you will learn how the Earth planet has become a hospital for the healing of souls and even their resurrection from the reincarnation of creatures, which are an unimaginable number of animal organisms living on Earth. Souls or spiritual consciousnesses are obtained for the kingdom of our Father Creator. This happens in the last phase of the animal-human organism, in which the healed spiritual consciousness or soul declares itself to exist in an astral body similar to the Son of Man Christ. I wonder that if I tried to tell my readers that their personality consists of a double spiritual consciousness, would I help them solve life's problems? Would it bring beneficial self-understanding? Or would I rather cause them harm by bringing depression or something even worse? Many people have problems with themselves without understanding why they have become the black sheep of their friends. Others have fallen so low that they have even contributed to someone's death. For some time now I have noticed that thoughts have been coming to me that at first I shunned, believing them to be ridiculous. I don't know if this is just the case for me or if others have this problem. I sense that sometimes there is something wrong in my consciousness. During the day, I may be attacked by some degenerate spiritual consciousness, or soul, through careless behavior. This happens rarely. Stupid thoughts come to me and provoke me to foolishly judge anyone by their appearance or some suspicious behavior. I have been pushing away the confusing thoughts and wondering where they are coming from, or who is creating them. I have come to the conclusion that perhaps there is an ailing soul incarnate in my body that sometimes messes with my thoughts. Of course this is hypothetical thinking, but since the Creator and the only begotten Son as spiritual beings were in the same body of the Son of Man, and this was most normal, a similar situation could occur in any human being to direct the destiny of an ailing soul. Such a directing being was the Father Creator being with the Son in one body. Of course, the only begotten Son was and is a fully healthy and noble person without any blemish like our Creator Father. At night some degenerate spiritual consciousness creates incredible fantasy dreams for me that often end dramatically. This has been happening night after night lately. After such nocturnal masquerades I wake up very confused. What is worse, the dream continues to float around in my head for some time. It is only through a mantra I have created, which I say over and over again, that it is all satanic lies that the nightmare gradually moves away from my brain. Occasionally other thoughts land on my mind as an answer to my prayers, giving me some concrete explanation. Why is this happening? I feel that my personality has become a doctor for some sick soul, which was first born in my body, and only then did I incarnate myself. To put it shrewdly, the sick soul has forcibly unleashed itself, and probably, by means of the spirit being of the degenerate son of perdition, has been acting as a tormentor of my life in order to test me. Perhaps the direction of my life is designed by the evil degenerate son of perdition to destroy the chance of my eternal salvation. Luke chapter 21 verse 31-32. Simon, Simon, behold, Satan demanded that he should sift you as wheat, but I asked after you, that your faith should not cease. It follows that many souls who are healed to some positive degree become doctors for other souls in the future. Incarnated as the second one, they constantly strive to heal the first one, which tries to master the whole body. I will frankly admit that this is somewhat logical. For what heavenly angel would sacrifice himself to fight with a raging spiritual consciousness to bring it to a positive state? We are all different, and the state of illness of the spiritual consciousnesses is in varying degrees, so the ideology of healing each other is brilliant. It is safe to say that such an ingenious system created by the heavens would really make sense. Adding to my argument, it seems that my noble spiritual consciousness has become a doctor for some ailing soul. Throughout my life, my spiritual consciousness has been fighting against the lies that this ailing one may be creating. She does not allow the truth to embody itself so that it can one day become noble and be born in somebody to heal another. I seek answers to various mysterious questions in order to get as close to my Creator as possible. In this way I learn the truth and free myself from lies. Struggling with a dual personality probably occurs in most people. They cannot understand and break through the enormous barrier to believe that the Jews and the degenerate Romans crucified their Creator along with His only begotten Son, who as spiritual beings were incarnate in the body of the Son of Man. In searching for evidence to support my findings, I immediately turned my attention to the beginning of man's life as a young child. I came to the conclusion that the spiritual consciousness of some animal that had died was incarnated in the body of the child. The behavior of a small human being resembles a small animal that needs help from its parents. The same happens with animals. I immediately thought of other cases of human babies who ended their existence in a previous life through some tragic event. These kids usually remember their previous lives. They remember exactly their previous parents and the names of their entire family from the place where they lived. How meaningful is the ending of life by elderly people affected by the incurable strange disease Alzheimer's. The elderly person becomes childish. It is my understanding that at some point the noble spiritual consciousness has left the body of the old person, leaving alone the yet unhealed spiritual consciousness who, while healing, has not attained a higher degree of intelligence. Probably in being born again, she will easily return to behaving like a child who, having partial memory from her previous life, will strive to refine herself with the help of the new noble spiritual consciousness that will heal her. I wonder how one can reach the noble spiritual consciousnesses who heal the sick living in the same body of man to introduce them to the truth that the world has crucified its Creator and His only begotten Son, who as spiritual beings were incarnated in the body of the Son of Man. Many people who have problems with their personality would understand how to achieve patience in order not to give in to some nervous hysteria destroying their noble personality. Especially when incidents of marital misunderstandings, jealousy or many other problems that plague humanity arise. If an unfortunate person would believe that a sick, degenerate spiritual consciousness, which lives together in one body, has a bad influence on him, he can use the intelligence of his noble spiritual consciousness to control the body to quell the rage of the degenerate soul that wants to control the body at all costs to harm someone. The Father and the Son is the absolute model of merciful unity. The only begotten Son, in prayer to the Father, asked forgiveness of the torturers for not knowing what they were doing. But the Creator Father, King of the universe, did not call upon His cosmic army to destroy the torturers who crucified Him. He and His Son humbled themselves by voluntarily allowing themselves to be crucified. As my imagination searches for evidence to support a dual personality in one body, it has brought certain facts to my imagination. On television there are videos of people who have died and have miraculously come back to life. These people, during their clinical death, have had an experience of seeing people from some outer space who told them that they must come back to life to fulfill their destiny. Let us not go into whether these people were delusional or whether it was true, but undoubtedly there is undeniable evidence that some people recovered completely after serious accidents or illnesses. In their subsequent lives they did a lot of cool things, but in my imagination they had to complete the most important one, returning to the body to complete the refinement of the spiritual consciousness they had been carrying for all their lives. A very good comparison of dual personality is for people who use a computer with two systems. Such an example we have when we load two systems into one computer like Windows and Linux. In your imagination you will hypothetically assume that the computer is a human body in which there are two spiritual consciousnesses, Windows and Linux. Although they are different, but they don't bite giving fun to solve different problems. Not always so good happens in the human body, where two spiritual consciousnesses have a conflict. The intellectually weaker one fights to control the body and not infrequently manages to control even the noble one. An example is the degenerate leaders of various countries, who, as tyrants, sadistically abuse people, especially their opponents. From the above examples we can see the diversity of the characters of the spiritual consciousnesses, where some cause great problems and others work on themselves using the intelligence of other spiritual consciousnesses. Undoubtedly, the noble spiritual consciousness has a positive effect on the ill spiritual consciousness that is hypothetically in the state of death. Let us produce in our imagination a certain fact that, for example, a fly, which undoubtedly has a soul and reacts logically to various stimuli, like For example, taking care